How was that decision made to wrestle in seniors?
Yeah, it was, I always like talked about my parents, once I saw different high school guys and young college guys who I've wrestled and beaten or lost to, like signing up and doing it, I'm like, man, I wish there was a like a senior trials for 61 because I was planning on just doing just U20s there. And there's weights 57 and 61 have people in final X, so there's no trials. This is the trials. And I was like, this sucks. I'm not gonna be able to wrestle. First off, I was on my visit, so I couldn't wrestle any college opens or anything. And then I'm not gonna be wrestling any senior stuff. So like it was a lot of talks with my parents, and they're like, hey, if you really feel that strongly about it, go talk to David about it. So I went to talk to David about it, and originally he was saying, just focus on U20s. You're gonna have a lot of years to wrestle in the senior division. And so I was like, all right, that makes sense. And then I was leaving, like walking out, getting in the car to go back, and he's in his truck with Tyler and Jimmy, and they call me over, and he's like, "Hey," he was like, "Are you serious about doing the senior stuff? Like, if you're going, you're not going to just place or wrestle and beat one guy. You got to go there with, trying to win. Obviously, things happen. You might not win, you might win, but they're like, if you're gonna go, you got to go to, win. You're not going there just to participate." And so I was like, no, like this is, I feel like I'm ready. I feel like my training's been going really good. I feel good. My weight's good. And so he was like, all right. And then obviously they at first didn't realize that like if I were to take first or second there, I could be on the U23 team. So then once I told David about that, he was like, okay, then yeah, I think this is a good idea. Worst case, you don't do as good, you go to U20s, the trials, and you just wrestle through that tournament. So, but looking back on it, that's one of the things. I'm really happy I ended up going and talking to him because that changed a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Did that's really cool. I like that you described that. You're getting in the car and they called you over in the truck. Did that
Yeah,
conversation that what he said to you, like, basically he said, this is the mentality you have to have. I'm not just going to see how it goes. You have to go to win. Were you already of that mentality, or did him telling you that make you have to switch and be like, all right, turn it up?
yeah. I mean, I didn't want to go in there thinking, okay, I'm winning this thing. I was going in there. I saw like the pre-seeds. I was like, all right, Nashon. That's all I'm worried about. I'm worried about trying to beat Nashon. And so ended up that happened. And then Dayton got hurt in his match and lost to Davino. And so I was like, wait, I've wrestled Davino before. I've beat him. I've lost to him. I can beat him too. So I went in there, wrestled a good, smart match. And then in the finals, I had Seth after he beat Marcus. And I was like, wait, he wrestles similar to me. There's no reason like I can't. I've beaten guys who have beaten him before. I've obviously lost to guys that he's beaten, lost to guys that he's lawsuit too. So I felt like there's no reason why I can't, And so each match I went in that mindset that I can win, finding, a way, to get that transitive property to just prove to myself that I could do it. But, each match I went in thinking I could win. And that's was the best version of myself, I think.
Yeah, I love this little glimpse inside your head. I can tell there's a lot going on, and you analyze wrestling deeply and a lot. And just the way you're describing your approach to these matches is really cool.